I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 20th, 2015 regular Planning Commission meeting for the City of Williamsburg. Before we call the roll, I'd like to introduce our new member, Mr. Andrew Edwards, who served on the Architectural Review Board for a number of years. So, welcome, Andy.
Thank you, Demetrius. Nice to be here.
All right. Ms. Murphy?
Mr. Clee?
Here.
Mr. Schauer?
Here.
Mr. Conley?
Here.
Mr. Farrakis?
Here.
Ms. Stafford?
Here.
Mr. Edwards?
Here.
Okay. Going over the minutes of April 15th, 2015. If anyone has any corrections, additions? Okay.
I move we approve the minutes of April 15th, 2015 as submitted.
Second.
Ms. Murphy?
Mr. Clee?
I abstain.
Mr. Schauer?
Aye.
Mr. Conley?
Aye.
Mr. Farrakis?
Aye.
Ms. Stafford?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Abstain.
Okay. Public hearings, PCR 15-010, request of Glenn Lavender for a special use permit for the Silver Hand Meadery on Monticello Avenue. Ms. Murphy?
Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission, Glenn Lavender is proposing to operate Silver Hand Meadery at 224C Monticello Avenue, which requires a special use permit in the Urban Business District B3, since it falls under the category of a microbrewery, microdistillery, microwinery, or microcidery. The applicant proposes to convert Unit C, which is this small area here, which is approximately 1,100 square feet, into a meadery with a proposed 450 square foot future patio area in front of the unit. Uses proposed are manufacturing, retail sales, food and beverage sales, and the display of local art. The applicant's statement was included with my memo. The 2013 comp plan designates this parcel as urban commercial land use, which designates the city's most urban commercial corridors along Richmond Road between Monticello Avenue and Bypass Road, and along Monticello Avenue from Richmond Road to Traver Drive. Land to the north, south, and east and west is designated as urban commercial land use, with a small area at the northwest corner designated as urban residential land use, and that's the small area up in here. This property, along with the properties to the north, south, east, are zoned Urban Business District B3, as shown on the overhead, and the small area in the northwest corner is RM2. The special use permit requirements are outlined in my memo, and staff does not feel any additional studies are needed in order to make a decision on this request. The Site Plan Review Committee reviewed this request on April the 15th and recommends approval. No exterior changes are proposed at this time. The applicant proposes to create a small patio area on the existing pavement sometime in the near future. At that time, the Architectural Review Board will need to approve any proposed fencing and outdoor patio furniture. This small site currently contains a doctor's office, a church office, and an empty space in which the meadery is proposing to locate. No changes, as I mentioned before, proposed for the site except for a small patio area. This property is located in the Midtown Parking District, which requires one space for each 400 square feet of floor area. The size of the building is 3,398 square feet, which requires 9 spaces, and 14 are available after the patio is constructed, which meets our parking requirements. The zoning ordinance limits a microdistillery to 15,000 barrels a year. Initially, the owner expects a production capacity in the range of 70 to 95 barrels per year. The proposed use of the micromeadery for this site is an appropriate use for this property. This will bring another use to Monticello Avenue, which will help diversify the economy of the urban business district area and the city. Therefore, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend to City Council that a special use permit be approved for the Silver Hand Meadery, conditioned upon the Architectural Review Board approving any proposed fencing and patio furniture prior to construction. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have now or after the public hearing. Mr. Lavender is also here if you have any questions of him about the operation of the meadery.
Any questions of Ms. Murphy? Okay, at this time I'll open the public hearing. If anyone would like to come speak to this matter, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
I'm Glenn Lavender, and I just thought I would come and introduce myself and say thank you for taking the time to consider this application. And as Ms. Murphy said, I'm available for any questions you might have, and also have samples available if you want to know what the product might taste like before you leave today. So, any questions?
I had one question. I don't know anything about the process, so I'm looking at your plan and I don't see obvious major cooking facilities or anything. Are those little round, are those circles tables? Are they drums?
Yeah, these are fermentation tanks. They're about 110-gallon fermentation tanks. It's a process that's more similar to winemaking than beer. So you can make mead with no heating at all.
That was my next question. So they're just sitting there on the floor. There's no heat applied to these at all.
That's right. In fact, the two at the top are my primary fermenters, and they have glycol jackets around them to keep them cool, because you want to maintain a temperature of around 68 degrees in your primary fermentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Would anyone else like to come forward?
My name is James Swinford. I'm the pastor of Incarnation Church, which was referred to. We have our ministry center and church offices right next door. I've known Glenn for about 5 months now or so, and heartily recommend this endeavor. My wife and I moved to Williamsburg about 2 years ago, actually to start a church, and I've done a lot of research into the community, the different demographics, and love it here. But I also think that this kind of enterprise would add a lot, in a lot of ways, to the economic mix. It would just do a lot for community engagement and enlivening the area. So I think it'd be a very, very positive addition. So, yeah, look forward to having him as a neighbor.
Thank you. Go ahead and close the public hearing and come back to the commission for comments.
I saw it at site plan, made sense at site plan.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
Sure. I move that we recommend to City Council that a special use permit be approved for Silverhand Meadery, conditioned on the ARB approving the fencing and patio furniture prior to construction.
Second.
Ms. Murphy?
Mr. Creed?
Aye.
Mr. Sherwood?
Aye.
Mr. Conley?
Aye.
Mr. Farrakis?
Aye.
Ms. Stafford?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to our open forum. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience to come forward and speak to us on concerns, comments, questions about planning. Okay, seeing no one. See site plan subdivisions, none. Unfinished business, new business. Down. I think we'll take this opportunity under other to read into record a resolution. Mr. Conley is retiring from the Planning Commission and moving to New York City. Whereas Christopher Conley was appointed to the Williamsburg Planning Commission on January 1st, 2012, and has ably served for 3 years and 5 months, his tenure ending on May 21st, 2015. And whereas he served as the second vice chair for 1 year and 5 months, and whereas the first student from the College of William & Mary appointed to the Planning Commission, he provided an important perspective on issues discussed by the Commission. He served as a member of the Site Plan Review Committee, where his knowledge of development and his perspective as a college student greatly assisted in the review of 25 site plans and subdivisions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Williamsburg Planning Commission hereby records its appreciation to Christopher Conley for his outstanding service on the Commission and on the Site Plan Review Committee. And I just wanted to say a few things. I just wanted to take this opportunity, Chris, to thank you for your service personally. Being the first student on the commission, you always came prepared. You participated intelligently. in all our discussions. You brought a unique perspective to us, and I wish you the very best in life.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Under informational items, any questions or comments on the city council report, our monthly report, or the monthly financial statements? No. Okay, we have a public hearing scheduled for June 17th, 2015, and it's PCR 15-012, request of Williamsburg Montessori School for a special use permit for a satellite campus for elementary and middle school at 800 Richmond Road. This is a former Suter's furniture building. And with that, I close the meeting.